maybe you don't see it now, but perhaps days later, when the conditions are there and the preparation is complete, when you see this radiant lotus flower, it causes rise to bodhisattva. But without the preparation, you can look at this all day long and you may not be able to see it. So how do we set up the conditions for a rising of the bodhisattva? The crucial point to remember here is that we have to give ourselves to it wholeheartedly. We have to be receptive to it, willing to receive. And we have to make a definite effort in some particular areas, whether it's giving, ethics, meditations, generosity, whatever it is that we're studying, we have to put in our whole heart into it, your heart and soul into it. One way that Santideva suggested was to attend maybe simply a puja, Fa Hui, Tap Hui, and commit yourself to a spiritual life, be part of that, where you become without fear of being or becoming. And the would-be bodhisattva has no worries. When you're committed to something, you're not being distracted by other things. And therefore, you don't have the worries because you are committed to a path, and therefore, you are not being distracted. So when you're committed, however life is happening, good or bad, it does not distract you. It's not like when life is good, you stop practicing. Or when life is bad, you start running to the Buddha for help. If you're still wondering what to do with your life, then you remain unsure, unclear, and unconfident. But once you have made up your mind, you're committed, then there's no fear, there's no worry. So from this, we can say that spiritual life is not that difficult. Perhaps the worldly life is more difficult because there's a lot of worries, there's a lot of uncertainties. And you don't know where you're going to realize that investment. But in spirituality, when you sit and attain meditation, you know it is meditation. You know that's something that within your control. And sometimes it is less trouble just to lead a spiritual life. Maybe perhaps being committed to our spiritual life is less troublesome than living a worldly life. From another perspective, Vasubandhu says that when we look at the Buddha started off with the same ignorance and weaknesses as we do. So if the Buddha can make it, we can make it. So it gives us some sort of confidence and faith in us. And thinking about the Buddha helps us to cultivate our positivity in the mind. And it helps us to move away from unskillful actions. By recollecting the Buddhas in our mind, 念佛, right? 念佛, we become convinced that enlightenment is possible because we keep thinking about the positivity. We're going to be motivated towards positivity. And if it's possible for the Buddha, it is possible for us. So by contemplating the virtues of the Tathagatas, Rulai and Nilai, their purity, their peacefulness, their wisdom, their love, we gradually become assimilated to them and approach the goal of enlightenment. We become like them. When we keep thinking about them, it will change us. May not seem like there's much going on physically, but in our mind, aspiration is changing us. So these four, energy, detachment, compassion, and becoming one, as it were, with the Buddhas, start to coalesce with our hearts and the bodhisattva arises. Bodhisattva arises when the conditions are right. The awakening of the heart is achieved, and the bodhisattva is born. When we can cause rise to bodhisattva, it may be relative, it may not be absolute, but when we can feel it, that we're resonating with something that's more meaningful and higher, then we know that we are on the bodhisattva way. We're resonating, we're living the bodhisattva ideal.